Thank you for tuning into TruPoint's Talking Tech for this month, and happy to introduce and get to spend a few minutes with Elliot Baretz from AppDirect. Elliot, how you doing today?
Good, John. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, excited to kind of sit down and banter a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, AppDirect's been a good partner of ours for a long time. Tell me a little bit about your personal background.
The story of Elliot. Okay, good. I'll start by just framing what I'm doing today at AppDirect. So today at AppDirect, I'm responsible for the cloud services business, which includes an awful lot, but largely that marketplace which we stand up to our collective customers so that they can find, buy, and manage SaaS and IaaS subscriptions and software. A big part of what I focus on is what you would call the catalog. So, making sure that we're bringing in that best of class provider within our marketplace so that as our customers show up and are looking for what is the best within a specific category or subcategory, they're finding it. And that, we've been able to define a very strong relationship with that provider. So we're really delivering to our customers. So there's a whole bunch in that, but that's what I do at AppDirect. Before that, I spent a number of years at Insight. I was responsible for the Microsoft business. Prior to that at PCM, which got acquired by Insight. So that's sort of how that chapter developed, where I was, again, very focused on the Microsoft business. And, those being the years where we helped a lot of customers transition from the perpetual licensing model to the subscription model, where we help them stand up, 365 and, do those migrations from on-premise environments, all that good stuff. And that really got me into the platform play because that's how you support that transition. And really, ultimately, that's what brought me to AppDirect, wanting to kind of be in this new, vanguard of the space, the platform space. And then before all that, I was in the consulting world. I spent about a decade in technology consulting for a firm called SWC, which today is BDO. So it's BDO Digital today. So I've kind of covered a lot of ground, but it's been good, because today I really have a really nice perspective in terms of, what is the deployment of software, what's the acquisition of software, what's the management of software, how does that all play out in the marketplace? So that's that. Beyond that, I live in the Chicagoland area. I have 4 adult children. I used to joke and call them adultish, but even today I have to call them adult because they're truly adults these days. And a dog, and I've been married very happily for 30 years. And I'm a huge Cubs fan. So that's my that's it. That's Elliot in the story.
I won't hold the Cubs fan against you, but
Okay.
congratulations on 30 years. That's a significant milestone.
Thank you.
All right, so transitioning back to work, AppDirect, we do a lot of different things with AppDirect. But I know you guys, or we use you guys mostly as a software as a service marketplace, single location to procure and manage. And I know you manage the software that's in there. So tell us a little bit more about, the reasons for a marketplace or why a customer would be interested in that.
Yeah, no, great question. I think I'll start with convenience. This notion that as a technology buyer, I'm able to go to a single pane of glass, look for a technology I'm interested in, be able to see comparatively where that software is versus others from a price point perspective or from a feature set perspective. Marketplace gives us the ability to present reviews, so I can look at reviews within the marketplace and see, kind of get a sense for how the market's responding to a technology. That's good. A lot of it, in that notion of a single pane of glass also translates to things like management, right? As I acquire software, subscription software, a platform marketplace gives me the opportunity to manage those licenses a little bit better than if I wasn't working within an environment like AppDirect. So I could say, oh, I need this many licenses or this many, and I can make those adjustments and throttle, and that's always important. I think that convenience also translates into the invoicing experience. And this is actually, honestly, where we see a great deal of conversation. Like today, as a technology buyer, I may go to many different places to buy my software. And what happens is I just start getting a whole bunch of different invoices at
Mhm.
all different times of the month, and I have to reconcile those, and it becomes a bit cumbersome. When you work within a marketplace, you're able to consolidate that into a master invoice, and that's beneficial for lots of reasons, right? So I'm able to consolidate my views, parse things out, sometimes assign cost centers if that's appropriate, things like that. We have different flavors of the marketplace where we can even get into curated experiences for an enterprise organization that may want to only stand up a very specific set of products in their own specific catalog so that they're not experiencing sprawl, where individuals are, you've heard it before, the technology
Been
sprawl, right?
creep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps prevent that, so those are any number of reasons that we've seen a great deal of attachment, to what we're doing with the marketplaces.
Yeah, a single billing across software platforms is powerful.
Yeah.
The with the cloud, there's so many different, software applications that every organization is dealing with today. And any way we can simplify that experience is a huge bonus. So
Yep.
there are other organizations out there that call themselves software as a service marketplaces. What are your four key differentiators? What makes you guys different?
Yeah. I think what we have found is first, maybe first and foremost, our catalog. So, and that's pretty self-serving. Earlier, you talked about, my role, one of my big roles is the catalog, but it is very important differentiator for us. It is by far the largest, most comprehensive, in-depth catalog in the market for a SaaS marketplace, by far. And it's not easy. That's the one thing I would throw out there first, because it's, if everybody could do it, they'd be doing it. What happens is that you have to do it right. You have to stand up the right provider relationships, ensure that those providers are able to support the technology of your marketplace, ensure that they're going to make the commercial commitments to your customer and customers,
Sure.
so that there's a consistent experience. Like what many times people don't consider is how important it is to have alignment with providers to make sure that when a customer shows up at the marketplace, that SKU is correct. No kidding. That the pricing is correct, that the descriptions are correct. All these things require a great deal of alignment and collaboration with the provider ecosystem. And we've built that infrastructure to do it. And that's one reason why it's a big differentiator for us. So I would start there. I would also start with the really significant infrastructure of support we've built within our business. What I mean by that is the pre-sales, delivery, post-sales support teams that are committed to providing a peerless, lights out experience for our customers from the minute they start shopping to the moment they're provisioned to the point where they're getting supported afterwards. And, we've developed an organization where we've stood up really strong teams in each of those parts of the experience that, today have built enough maturity that through people, process, and technology, we feel very accountable and that we know we can deliver a very good experience throughout the catalog. And I think that's really unique. I think another thing that's a differentiator for sure is our support organization. And what I mean by that is in many, many cases within our marketplace, particularly around Microsoft and Google, as our customers subscribe, not only do they get the subscription, but they also get an attached support organization. So they can reach into our support organization if they've got administrative challenges or if their end users have challenges. There's a whole bunch of that which comes with the marketplace, which is pretty powerful. And then I think lastly, I will talk about the technology in the marketplace. The marketplace itself, our platform comes with a single sign-on mechanism. That's very powerful. What we're able to stand up for our customers is a workspace environment so that their end users can have within one desktop experience all the software that the company is supporting and presenting, and they can get to those technologies through single sign-on and through MFA, right? So there's this security component that's actually comes with the platform, just as an example. So there's a bunch, and I could talk forever, but
Sure.
those are ones that I feel pretty strongly about.
Yeah, and your support that you mentioned, and that'll extend all the way down to a small organization, right? An SMB organization doesn't have to be
Yes.
at a certain, 100, 200, 300 seats, correct?
Absolutely. And, we find a great deal of our business is in that SMB mid-market space. So yeah, easy answer is yes.
Okay. Well, I guess what is your ideal fit customer then? Who's a
Yeah,
perfect fit for your marketplace?
I think if I were to, I look at that from not a size perspective, not an industry perspective, but from the perspective of if it's an organization that is seeking to consolidate its cost structures tied to acquisition of software, is looking to develop best in class, acquisition methods in terms of finding and seeking through a catalog and acquiring correctly. Somebody that's, seeking to get out of the procurement game and focus on more strategic parts of their business because they're able to consolidate these motions in the marketplace.
Mhm.
Those are the kind of organizations that I think are clearly benefiting from this type of experience with us. uh, and there's a whole bunch of others, but like I don't want to get caught up in the size, because we have customers that are SMB, mid-market, enterprise, the whole thing, right? But a lot of the common denominators come from the inherent value of the marketplace, being able to find, buy, and manage software in a way that they haven't been able to before, right? That's the big pivot.
Customers looking to optimize their experience, simplify their management, and consolidate billing, right? I mean, that
Yep, spot
the
on.
opportunities we've seen, that's been the real reason for you guys.
Yeah,
Does
spot on.
that sound
That's
right?
it.
Okay,
Yep.
good. All right. Well, we talked a lot about the marketplace. Who is you guys work across a bunch of different SaaS providers. Who is your largest?
Yeah, and we have hundreds, just like you said. And it won't be a shock, I think, for me to say that our largest is Microsoft. They're the 800-pound gorilla. Like, I think
Sure.
that's the expression. Like, they are the 800-pound gorilla in our world. And Google's really close to that. Google's a big part of that. AWS is growing significantly in what we're doing. Those are the big three, right? And then, we have this accretive set of providers that really snap in nicely to that footprint, whether it's Microsoft or Google or AWS. And they seem to be growing very fast within our marketplace. And then, of course, like everybody else, we've got a long tail, but it's hundreds of providers. But, if Microsoft is the top provider for us right now.
Is that usually, where you see customers first adopting your platform as well? Is Microsoft?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the easiest conversation,
Sure.
that we run into. I mean, I think, the reality is so much of the market already has made an investment in Microsoft, that it's not really a question of, is Microsoft the right technology? That's not really the conversation. The conversation is, what's the best way for me to buy and manage Microsoft? And so, if that becomes the conversation, then it's a really nice, elegant conversation for us, because then we're talking about, okay, well, when you work with us, you're going to be able to benefit from the ability to manage these subscriptions within our marketplace or our platform. You're going to be able to go into the marketplace and find those technologies that are accretive or complementary to your Microsoft investment and pull them in, and then get invoiced from that one single place. And we're able to bundle in support, which is probably something you're not getting elsewhere. And so, like, between all those conversations, we end up being really competitive. So that's sort of how we
Sure.
go about it. Yeah.
And when can a customer convert their Microsoft environment? So
Yeah.
let's say we've got a customer who is working with an MSP today and buying their Microsoft through an MSP. How can
Yeah.
they convert to AppDirect or move their licenses to AppDirect?
Yeah. That's a phenomenal question. One that's been a moving target for some time now.
I know NCE made it interesting too.
Yeah, we've been going through this evolution, and you're spot on. I mean, Microsoft, just to sort of tease that out a bit, Microsoft has gone through programmatic evolutions that have, brought them from these once upon a time structures of the volume license agreement where you had to commit 3 years up front and all this other sort of fixed based elements to it, to then transitioning to that CSP structure, which, really kind of became a month to month type commitment. And then ultimately evolving into what we call today NCE, which Microsoft says New Commerce Experience. That's what that stands for.
Sure.
And they built more rigid rules around that subscription method, so that, hey, look, I'm committing to an annual term. I may get billed monthly, but I'm in an annual term. And so that becomes a renewal cycle, of sorts. most recently, they announced that they are now opening up, the opportunity for customers to transition from a provider mid-term, but there's a whole bunch of elements to that, which is the company that has the term has to agree. The company that wants the new subscription has to agree. It's interesting, like having been through this whole world for years and years and years. It's that, what is that expression? It's like, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, exactly.
This is spot on what it is. Like back in
Yeah.
the day with buying licensing, that's what it was. It was, if I was going to take an agreement or a contract from another LSP, I needed to get them to sign off on it, and it's the same thing, but in NCE. So there's, long answer to your question.
No, it's good. It's good. So let me summarize it. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you've got a customer who wants to move their Microsoft licensing into the AppDirect portal. They can do it at the time that their contract is coming up, if they're in an NCE agreement. But even if they're in the middle of it and they're making a change to their support organization, they want to change management, get more control over it. They do have an opportunity there, but there's some hurdles that we have to go through.
Yeah, well summarized. Thank you. That's
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
And that's where you as a partner or us as a partner can come in and help look at their Microsoft environment and see what can be done.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And as collectively as a team, we would do that.
Okay, perfect. And you have Microsoft engineers or experts on staff that can help with that?
Yeah, and that's part of, earlier I was talking about the teams that, we've really developed and matured throughout the whole process. One of our big areas of investment is in Microsoft, from
Sure.
a pre-sales, product specialist, engineering, whole thing. And yeah, so they're there, they're ready, they're an excellent team. We stand by.
Perfect. Well, give me a little bit more around the uniqueness around your Microsoft relationship. How do you guys fit into their ecosystem?
Yeah. In a couple in layers, right? I think the first real profound layer is in the platform itself, in the sense that everything that you do in the platform that Microsoft experiences integrated and automated directly with Microsoft. So products,
Full API integration on the back end.
full API integration. We have teams and teams of people working with teams and teams of their people. And when I say teams, I mean engineering teams that are working with their engineering teams. And we're a managed partner. It's called a control panel managed partner, which, basically it's like the level of strategic investment that we have with Microsoft is within the platform itself to ensure that, we're really surfacing out that best in class. And I think, what I know, and others may know is that, AppDirect has a number of companies throughout the world that license our technology to stand up their own marketplaces. And that's because of things like that kind of relationship with Microsoft, that what we can ensure is state-of-the-art integration with Microsoft. So that to me is a big part of it.
Sure.
Yeah. And then, I think beyond that, it's that expertise around that level of not just the technology, but also the unique elements of the product and the licensing. And, so you're getting more of a holistic conversation between the solution and the licensing and the deployment, and then the management out of our support team. So all those things are in there. I would argue that between those two things, that and then it's the marketplace, right? Like in all the things I talked about before. So it's not just about Microsoft, but it's snapping into the value of the platform, the marketplace, and being a strong Microsoft partner.
Yeah, be able to centralize the
Yeah,
billing and all those
all
things we
that
talked
stuff.
about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Copilot obviously has been, been with the emergence of AI. Copilot has been a topic of conversation here over the last 6 months, a year. What are you seeing as far as actual adoption within Copilot, and where do you see it headed?
Yeah, I'm very bullish. We're seeing absolute adoption every week. We have a very deliberate set of campaigns that are in market, where we're creating conversations with customers about, Copilot and the value of Copilot, particularly within 365, obviously. And that is, not reaping rewards isn't maybe the best way to put it. We're seeing real significant market growth because of those conversations, and adoption is absolutely there. I think that many organizations see the just true inherent value of what Copilot brings to, particularly that 365 collaboration experience, particularly within teams, as an example. So, I mean, it's the real deal. It's only going to get bigger, stronger, faster. So we're very, very bullish about Copilot.
Now, what we're telling customers is to take a methodical, intentional approach to Copilot. I'm sure you guys are coaching the same thing, right? Because there are some security concerns there. There
Yep.
are some other concerns that you really need to make sure your organization is set up properly for. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, let me build on that for a minute. So, what we present as an option are a series of workshops that a customer can take advantage of along with, our partnership. So together, we can present workshops that help our customers assess their current environment as it relates to Copilot. So you're so right about the security layers, right? Is your infrastructure from a security perspective ready, mature enough to accept Copilot? And that's a very real conversation. So we go through those workshop conversations. Then we also have workshops that are that next discussion, which is, okay, like, so you are ready. How do we best take advantage of Copilot? Where's the low hanging fruit? Where's the 80-20, right? There's 20% of what your business is looking at today, where if we pivot a little bit using Copilot, we're going to get an 80% return, however we want to use that analogy, right? So that's another thing. And then we've got a pilot program where we bundle in an initial set of pilot subscriptions in with that workshop so that people can get a quick start, if you will. So that's sort of how we have approached that.
Yeah, we've seen good adoption with small groups of users to try and test it, try and help them, determine the outcomes that they're really looking for, so then they can determine which is the best fit and the deployment method that's the best fit. All right, so beyond Copilot, how are you guys integrating AI into your solutions?
Yeah, probably a two-part answer.
Okay.
So, the first part is just to acknowledge that if you go into our marketplace, if you go into the catalog, you're going to see AI in lots of different places, right? So obviously Google's got Gemini, you've got, Copilot with Microsoft, and every provider's got an AI story, right? So we're seeking to represent those stories throughout the marketplace and throughout our conversations with customers. So that's definitely a part of what we're doing. But the big AI story at AppDirect is our own development in an AI marketplace. So today, if you went to appdirect.ai, you would see the AppDirect AI marketplace, where we've stood up a platform that allows individuals to build their own bots to solve specific and discrete, business challenges, and then to store those bots within the AppDirect marketplace. And then as people use them, that's an opportunity to benefit, right? So that has become incredibly interesting. And we're seeing, great adoption throughout the ecosystem in terms of people trying, going to the AppDirect AI marketplace and having that level of curiosity where they can leverage the tools in the AppDirect marketplace to build their own bots. And I've done it. Like, I've actually gone out and built a couple bots, and it's not, I can understand how at face value can be intimidating, but it doesn't need to be. It's not intimidating. You can, work through a number of common sense type tools, if you will, that are going to help you build a bot that'll solve specific business outcomes. And so, we've built bots within many of the providers in our catalog. So like, if you went into our AI marketplace and found our Google bot, right? Our Google bot, you could ask the Google bot questions about licensing or technology or whatever you want, and you're going to get very good answers, and that's intended to create value for our customers and to create, velocity as it relates to their decision-making process. And it's pretty cool, I mean, and that for us is where we're a bit geeked out around AI.
Yeah, well, it's just fun, right?
Yeah.
You get to play.
Yeah.
With you guys having the AppDirect AI marketplace, what use cases are you seeing, let's say mid-size, small enterprise organizations using it to create bots for?
Yeah. I mean, obviously pre-sales is one, support is another. Those are low-hanging fruit. And we've seen that for sure, easy out of the gate. Where I think a lot of the innovation comes is within the process side of the business. I have core operational processes. How can I create a bot internally or externally to create velocity around processes. And that's been interesting, but I think the low hanging fruit, like I said before, pre-sales and support, that's where it's super valuable, and it's clear, where you're gonna, like, your data sources that you're gonna pull into the bot are probably mature enough on both ends that to build the bot, you're okay.
So for, folks who may be, not as familiar with AI, and but when we start talking about bots and stuff like that, their eyes roll back in their heads. Um, Using your AI marketplace, they can actually, let's use support as the use case. So using support as the use case within the AI marketplace, they can go in using their existing support knowledge base and create a bot that customers can actually interact with and receive real-time answers based on their private data. Is that correct?
Yeah, spot on. So just to sort of kind of get into a little bit of granularity there, you want to build a bot that just answers questions intuitively and accurately for your customers as it relates to the support of a product that you have. Much of that content that you just talked about, the subject matter on that product, whether it's blueprints or instruction manual or pricing or catalog or whatever it is, you have probably documented within some form of repository. It could be a drive, it could be a G drive, it could be any sort of drive. You could take the tool, our marketplace, build your bot, connect your bot to that drive, and the bot will start to process that information so that when customers ask questions, it's feeding up the right answers. And if you think about that drive as one source of data, there's other sources. So you could train it to a website. There's lots of different ways that you can train. They call it training the bot to pull in that information and then be able to translate that into a query type response scenario.
Powerful tool.
It is.
Look forward to seeing what the future holds with AI.
Yeah,
It's
very
gonna be
exciting.
All right, so tell me about the rest of your roadmap. Anything else upcoming that we haven't touched on so far?
Well, the big thing in the world of AppDirect is our big event. We have a big event coming up in the first week of September where we're really getting an opportunity to unveil a number of features and advancements within our platform. So some of that's kind of coming up, to be announced. But in effect, it's being able to really elevate the customer experience to become very intuitive, elevate the experience that we have with our advisors so it's that much more intuitive, ensure that we've got stronger alignment with providers, making sure that those providers are getting the chance to be syndicated out to our other platform customers so they can sell it. So there's a whole bunch going on that we're bringing together in our ecosystem that we're announcing in Chicago at Thrive first week of September. So there's a whole bunch there. Beyond that, I think that the team is just very excited about the growth that we've got, and the success that we're seeing every day, and every, all of that, that's where we're living every day. So very excited.
We've enjoyed our partnership with you guys as well. It's been a long, going back a couple of different organizations that now are named AppDirect. We've worked with you guys for a long time and truly appreciate the partnership.
Yeah, and we're grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got an event coming up here at the end of August 28th. We'll have some folks from AppDirect. We're going to have a session around Copilot and best practices for adoption, amongst a bunch of other sessions, some AI focused, some customer experience focused. We have over 20 providers that'll be there. So for any of our customers that are listening to this and have not yet registered for the event, go onto the website. There's a tab right at the top. It's TruPoint's Tech Connect, and look forward to seeing you there. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. Again, like and share, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.